Question to me?
Yes, sir. Huda sir is actually traveled due to an family emergency today, so he would try to join us if possible, but he has only said that we should begin on time.
Yes, please. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Professor Oda has joined.
Yes. Good evening, Huda sir. Welcome to the session.
Good evening, everyone. I'm audible
Yes, sir. So should we
because
begin?
I'm traveling out of Delhi and the network is very low. I've just made hotspot from my mobile.
Sir, should we start?
Yeah, please start.
Okay, sir. A very pleasant evening to all distinguished panelists and participants. Bharati Vidyapeeth's Institute of Computer Applications and Management, BVI CAM, in association with Computational Intelligence Society, CIS chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Computer Society CS chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Technology and Engineering Management Society, TEMS chapter of IEEE Delhi section, System Man and Cybernetics SMC Society chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Communication Society of IEEE Delhi section, Consultants Network Affinity CNA Group of IEEE Delhi section, Life Member Affinity LMA Group of IEEE Delhi section, Inter-Society Relations IRS Standing Committee of IEEE Delhi section, Industry Relations and Special Interest Group on Humanitarian Technology Site Standing Committees of IEEE Delhi section, Region 10 of IEEE with the Associations of Computer Society of India, Institute of Information Technology Professionals, IITP, ISTE Delhi section and IETE Delhi Center as technical collaborator welcomes you all to the IEEE IETE BVI CAMP technical lecture series on Raising the Resilience Bar, the RBI way. With immense pride and honor, we are delighted to announce that we, with united hands, mark special contribution for the monumental occasion, Golden Jubilee celebrations of the IEEE Delhi section. From 13th May 2025 to 12th May 2026, we mark 50 years of this vibrant and pioneering section, a journey that began in 1976 and has since shaped the technological and professional landscape of Northern India through innovation, collaboration, and learning. This webinar is an initiative to celebrate this legacy. According to Nelson Mandela, the greatest glory in living lies not in ever falling, but in rising every time we fall. The RBI has raised the bar for resilience. Are you all ready? Discover what every financial institution in India must now do to safeguard their operations. Today's exclusive webinar on the RBI April 2024 guidelines. Operational risk is no longer a checkbox anymore. It is a foundation. Our expert Damandev Sood sir will explain how these guidelines will help banks, NBFCs, fintech, and risk professionals. But above all, what can we all expect from our service providers in these fields? So being aware should be the first step towards being resilient. I would first take this opportunity to welcome amongst us our distinguished panelists for the day. We are privileged to have amongst us a galaxy of experts. I would first now invite Professor M.N. Huda Sir, Director, Bharati Vidyapeeth's Institute of Computer Applications and Management, BVI CAM, and Chairperson, IEEE Delhi section, to address the participants with his inspiring words. Over to you, Huda Sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
If required in between, I might need to switch off the video. Let's see. So good evening, everyone. At the outset, let me take this opportunity to welcome my friend and for valued speaker for today's very important session, Mr. Daman Devsu. Mr. Daman has been a great source of strength to many of the professional society and as well to me. He is also heading the Golden Jubilee Celebrations Committee of IEEE Delhi section as the chair. And you'll be happy to note that the very first during the COVID backdrop in May 2020, when this webinar series was started, he was the speaker of the first ever webinar of this series, which is under IEEE, IET, CSI, BVI Camp weekly evening Saturday webinar series. So thank you so much, Mr. Raman, for having accepted my request and being with all of us.
Thank you.
Dear friends, I also take this opportunity to welcome all my friends from various professional societies and the audience who keeps on waiting for this program depending upon the interest of their subject. Thank you so much for having joined this. Today's session is on raising the resilience bar, and it is based on the RBI report. Friends, in whichever area we try to analyze, but unless we should be first resilient, and the second, we should be ready to upgrade the resilience. Our survival sometimes will become a question mark. And that's why I say that in today's time, in the 21st century, the digital age, RISC risk will be the key factor or will be the key characteristics for our professional relevance. And when I'm talking RISC risk, this risk, R stands for resiliency, I stands for inner strength, S stands for strategic thinking, and the last character, that is C, stands for collaborative digital mindset. So these are the only way which will help us to be relevant in 21st century, which is the rapidly changing digital age. Either we change upfront, or the market competition or changing technological ecosystem will change us. So thank you so much for having joined us for this 175th episode of this webinar series, which was started in May 2020. And dear friends, more importantly, this year means from May 13th May 2025 to 12th May 2026 is a golden jubilee year of IEEE Delhi section, which makes this webinar as well more important. The IEEE Delhi section is celebrating its 50th year of huge service to the nation, particularly to the professionals and in general to the mankind. So all of us are together to ensure that how the benefit of the technology, how the benefit of the profession can be disseminated and can be brought to the people at large. So thank you so much having joined to all of us. Many of our webinar sessions are already notified. If you have not registered by now, please register and keep attending. This certainly motivates us, and not only motivates us, makes an enriched and informed society. Informed society is always a better approach than a society which is not informed. So thank you so much. Wish you all, God bless you, and stay safe, stay vibrant, keep learning despite disruptions, for which the COVID is again knocking our door. All the best to all of you. Over to you, Dr.
Thank you, sir. With this, I would now welcome amongst us our expert speaker for today, Professor Damandev Sood, sir, with an e-bouquet.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Daman, for this e-bouquet, I had written 2 couplets, and the couplet is, बड़ी मुश्किल में हूँ कैसे इजहार करूँ, बड़ी मुश्किल में हूँ कैसे इजहार करूँ, तू तो खुशबू है कैसे गिरफ्तार करूँ. तो ये सिर्फ रंगों का एक कॉम्बिनेशन नहीं, बल्कि जो खुशबुओं का एहसास है वो आप तक पहुंच रहा और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक माध्यम से पहुंच रहा है. तो इसी खुशबू के एहसास के साथ हम आज आगे. थैंक यू.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Professor Damandev Sood, sir, is a professor of practice at Chitkara University, Himachal Pradesh. With over 4 decades of experience in the industry and over 2 decades in the resilience domain, sir is a certified international and corporate trainer with over 15,500 hours of training teaching experience, achieving 100% NPS and holding over 18 copyrights. Sir has published and authored 10 published books on resilience. In his professional journey with corporates like TCS, Zansa, Continuity and Resilience, City Innovates, EY, HSBC, Sir has played various senior executive roles like principal consultant, group head, practice head, COO, CIO, VP, board member, program director, etc. Sir has also traveled and worked in over 20 countries. An international speaker, Sir has served clients in various industry sectors. During his journey, he has also won multiple national and global awards and has also been inducted into the BCI Hall of Fame. Currently director at the One Person DBT Training and Consultancy, Sir also serves as an international resilience trainer and consultant and is also the chair ad hoc committee for Golden Jubilee celebrations of the IEEE Delhi section. We are honored to have you amongst us, sir. I would now request you to kindly enlighten the House.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ritika. Let me start by sharing my slides.
Yes, sir.
Can you see it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great. Right. So, good evening, everyone, once again. The topic today is raising the resilience bar, the RBI way. So, we'll talk about resilience for sure, and we'll talk about RBI for sure. But to start with, once again, many congratulations to all of us who are associated with IEEE and IEEE Delhi section. This Golden Jubilee celebrations are running throughout the year. Lot coming up your way. 50 years of impact, innovation, resilience, and leadership. We are inviting you to join us in a year of celebration, reflection, and vision. Quickly, in the chat box, anyone who has not received even one communication about this activity, the Golden Jubilee celebrations of Delhi section. Anyone who has not. With this, I assume that everyone is getting our mails. That's the first way of communication we are maintaining. I'm repeating, many activities, almost one per day, sometimes many at many different places on the same day, during the same day will be happening, and with the grand gala finale, the last week, full week will be celebrations of these, and they are ample n number of unlimited opportunities for all of us to participate. Please keep looking forward to, keep participating, including many interesting projects which had never happened in the history of Delhi section are coming up your way, and we look forward to your participation. If you have any questions about these celebrations, please feel free to write to me. R is resilience, Professor Hoda said. R is risk also, and R is relevance and relevant also. Staying relevant is very important, crucial, even more important than important. It's crucial these days. Anyone in the world who feels, thinks, believes that she knows all and need not learn anymore is wrong. Full stop. Learning and sharing is forever. I'm a lifelong learner myself, and while I teach, train, speak, share my experiences as I'm doing this evening also, I keep learning. I won awards nationally, globally, but there is no end to learning. And every day I'm saying, even it's the best topic, best subject of my choice, what I teach, train, consult on. Every time I spend another hour on that topic, on that subject, I learn more. And this is how then I stay relevant. This is how we will have to stay relevant by learning. So please keep doing one activity once again, IEEE Delhi section. During this Golden Jubilee year also, these webinars, which are free for all, open to all non-IEEE members also. So please keep spreading the word also. In the world, you will come across many definitions of resilience through many guidelines, standards, etc. Also through various books, through different people. In the simplest way, resilience is one's ability and capacity to bounce back. As simple as that. This is my definition. Ability and capacity to bounce back, which means we need to build it, which means we need to retain and maintain it. And the moment we think of resilience, this definition, along with the diagram that I have built up, what comes to mind is a ball, which is visible here, or a spring, also a rubber band. You stretch it, which is a negative force on it, a disaster, a crisis, a risk. But the moment you remove this force, it has a tendency to come back to its original shape and size. And that's what resilience is. Simple so far. Let me make it a bit difficult then. That expectation today by your clients, various stakeholders, your interested parties, regulators, is not to be back in the original shape and size, but to be better than that. So it's difficult, challenging, needs to be done in a planned and structured way. So resilience is a structured journey, a journey of transformation. It will take time, effort, and money also. We should be willing to invest. Have a look at this short movie, please. Watch it carefully. I will ask a question. Audio video clear?
Operational risk management, or ORM, is a continual cyclic process which includes risk assessment, risk decision making, and implementation of risk controls. This results in acceptance, mitigation, or avoidance of risk. We can also say that ORM is the oversight of operational risk, which includes the risk of loss resulting from inadequate or failed internal processes and systems, human factors, or external events.
By the way, this movie has been developed by me using an AI agent. Today, any discussion cannot be complete without touching AI. So that's why I wanted to bring out this topic, including the voice. I could have recorded natural voice, but this is what I cloned, my cloned voice. Operational risk management we were looking at. So let's look at some examples of operational risks. Sorry about that. A cyber attack, a lot has been happening and can happen to anyone, individual as well as organizations. Even the biggest one in the world have been attacked and can be. So that's one of the operational risks every company, every organization, every individual has. We all can make mistakes, and our mistakes can bring interruption to our operations, so can give rise to risks. Regulations are not risks within themselves, in themselves. But if there is a regulation to be followed by me, and if I do not comply to that, that non-compliance can become and will become, may become, becomes an operational risk for me. Last week, we had discussed about ethics, IEEE ethics. We all are required to, bound to live within the IEEE code of ethics. And if we fail, that will give rise to an operational risk for us. Outsourcing is good, no doubt about it. Almost every organization has done some bit of outsourcing, but it comes with a risk along itself. And that risk is that I lose control. My vendor has control over that activity more than me. And if the vendor fails due to any reason, I stand to fail. So an outsourcer, a vendor failing can bring interruptions to my operations, and that is the operational risk that I live with if I've done any outsourcing. Talent retention had always been a risk for all organizations. During COVID-19 pandemic and immediately after it, it emerged a lot more. Today, this one takes us close to that, staying relevant, learning continually, because of one of the factors being AI. So once again, that is a different topic. We'll touch upon that some other day. It's a technology, and every technology comes with some opportunities and some risks, and there are some risks of AI. One that we all fear is about our job losses, and that gets linked with talent retention. This is an operational risk. Almost all organizations use IT today. Perhaps we can drop almost out of this sentence. Everyone, 100%, is dependent on IT, automation, technology. So if that fails, there is a disruption, and that is a risk to the operations of that company. So technology, digitalization, or IT may be similar. IT can fail and can bring disruption to our operations. A lot of data is being generated per second in the world by all organizations. And then big, good organizations are making meaningful use out of this data through analytics. So if they lose data, which is of huge value, the historical data is of huge value. If they lose that, their operations will be at risk. Cyber fraud, similar to cyber attack. So attacks have been happening and frauds have been happening or can happen and can bring challenges to our operations. Change is good. Once again, just like outsourcing, just like technology, change is good. But a change, once again, if not implemented well, can bring interruption to our operations and becomes a risk. Processes are good, nothing wrong. Or to be resilient, it's good, mandatory to have processes. And by the way, when I say a process or having a process, it means a written process. Anything that is in my mind does not exist for me. It has to be documented process, and documented process definition is written by someone, reviewed by someone, approved by someone. At least three: written, reviewed, approved. But the cycle doesn't end there. Published, used, and then kept up to date. So if you fail at any one of these steps, that process can bring challenges to our operations. So with these examples, we have attempted to see what are possible operational risks for ourselves. The session is based on the guidance issued by RBI. RBI is the Reserve Bank of India. It's the regulator for financial sector. So when we think of financial sector, immediately banks come to mind, but I'm still saying financial sector. There are many other organizations like those which are called NBFCs, non-banking financial companies, they are also regulated by RBI. This guidance document on operational risk management and operational resilience was issued by RBI last year. Very helpful for organizations to be resilient or to be more resilient. That's why the session name is kept to be raising the bar of resilience. Everyone has some elements, some degree of resilience. No one is zero at resilience, and no one can ever be 100% resilient also. It's a continuous journey. We need to invest time, money, effort into this. We need to maintain any knowledge, any arrangement, any excellence that we gain. To explain these concepts further, I have built in some cases. Let's discuss these one by one. Almost real cases close to our lives, sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly. The first one is a life insurance company has John as a data entry operator. While creating a new application record, he entered the applicant's per month salary as 1,000, which is 1 million, 1,000 instead of 100,000. In the form, the application had written monthly income is 100,000. But John, the data entry operator, entered this as 1,000. This is a human mistake, possible. The implications of this mistake can be very serious if it's not caught. So we'll have to assume to understand the concept that it passed without being caught. Serious implications that a very high value policy would be issued to the customer. The principle of life insurance or any insurance is like this, that we keep paying premium for long, while from day one, the cover is assured. Assume that customer had paid only first premium, very small amount, compared to the huge cover that would have been issued to him or her, and dies. A claim would be due to his family, and assume now checking is done, and company will do a check at the time of making claims, and they may realize that this was issued incorrectly. The monthly income of, assume the applicant was Daman, was 100,000 per day, but it got entered as 1,000. They would like to refuse. They would admit mistake. Now, Daman doesn't exist, but the family can take the company to the court. It's a valid policy we got issued, and we must get the money. And money is huge amount, I'm repeatedly saying, because my salary got entered incorrectly as a huge amount. Most likely my family would win. Company would have to pay the amount, so that's a loss to the company. And while this is happening, it may be dragged for long. If it goes to the press, this may bring a lot of negativity to the company, the reputational risk also, not only operational risk. This case, a human error, which can bring an operational risk to our company. Second case is Jane is a technical analyst who works on applications of our organizations. Many of you perhaps are learning. Some of you perhaps are already doing this job. Operational departments use such applications to produce output. She created an application recently for the accounts department to create invoices. So simple, live, everyone understands this case. At the end of the month, the actual cash outflow was more than that flowing into this application. Outflow is more than input. This cannot happen. Basic principle of accounts. Upon more investigation, the team found that one of the accounts payable inputs was getting doubled after execution. So in simple terms, one entry was being made double, twice. This is a programming mistake by a person. We can go deep into finding the cause and then fix. How could this application go live? Or testing was not done properly. Whose mistake was that? Jane. Jane is a coder or developer. There is a tester also in the company. How do we fix it? The reason that they were not trained on testing. They were not very well trained on testing. So this condition got passed. So what is the fix? Do not throw the tester out. Do not throw Jane out. But improve your training process where testing is done very well. So people are trained well on testing applications. So today, we will not be able to spend time on every case as much I have spent on this, that we need to find the fix also, always. And then someday I come back and I'll talk about that effectiveness of the fix also needs to be found, and it doesn't remain same throughout the life. Effectiveness of the control keeps going down. So even controls need to be maintained. So today we will just discuss the cases to understand the concepts of operational risk management. First portion is operational risk management. If you spend few seconds on this picture, you would understand this appears to be the passbook, bank's passbook. There are some entries by name, description, and their debit, credit. And we see that there is some difference. So what is happening here? These are the entries from Claire's manual records. She maintains her records manually, assume. And she should have a savings of 120,000. But she received a message from the bank that the amount in her account was only 100,000. Oh my God, heart attack. Jane may fall down. I have lost money. An immediate impression will be the bank has done a mistake. Bank has cheated me. We all may have this feeling. What we come to know is that she realized that she had missed out on a donation of 20,000 that she makes every year in that month. So once again, a human error which could have given heartburns, heart attacks, etc. Operational risk. Next case is Raman, a mechanic, leaves a tool inside a jet engine. Can you believe? He was doing some maintenance and then forgot a tool inside the engine. So this resulted in the blowout of the engine during flight. The aircraft is able to return to the airport, but the passengers are shaken. So I've kept it an easy case. I could have made this that it was fully blown up and there were casualties also. Even if no one has died in this case yet, but they are shaken. For sure, we would be shaken. Mistake? Simple. He forgot a tool inside. The impact on the travelers, passengers, shaken. If we stay within the case could be actually worse than this. Effect on the company, the airline, they lose a reputation for sure immediately. And if customers start moving away to other airlines, then there would be financial impact also. So an operational risk can impact us in different ways, financially or reputationally. These are two. There may be few others. We'll talk of those some other day once again. A critical network device experiences an error that results in a 4-hour outage for the website of an online retailer. You can think of Amazon, for example. Just imagine. Amazon site going down for 4 hours. What will they lose? Sorry. Huge amount. They operate online. So in this case, if you have to pick up some learnings, you'll have to think of your company. What do you do online? How much do you do online? What all is available on your website, whether it is a static website or a dynamic website. So static website, the impact will be little less. For a dynamic website, for an e-commerce site, the impacts will be huge. Immediately financial. On top of that, reputational also, Amazon went down. We pick up next case. A settlement process for an investment bank is only designed for a regular market volume. Some of you perhaps deal in stocks and they would understand this easily. One day there is a market crash and volume on the stock exchanges spikes to 50 times normal. It can happen. Once again, a realistic case. The settlement process fails because it involves manual steps and the bank does not have enough trained staff to complete the processes in a timely fashion. Bank loses money and reputation. The stock exchange loses money and reputation. The customers lose money. And there may be once again many hard burns. When it comes to money, immediately there may be that type of impact on us. In the case itself, I have written the reason also that people were not trained well. So that's the fix when we go deep into fixing. A number of students deposited admission plus annual fee at a university. It's quite close to many of us. IEEE has student members also. And then got transferred to another preferable university. May not be happening in India yet, but it happens in the world. A refund would be due to them. Khalid, a clerk at the university, writes to the students that they do not qualify for a refund. Once again, immediately hard ones, we are losing money. That's to the students. And more than students, perhaps their parents also, who pay in most of the cases for the education of their sons and daughters. For the university, losing their reputation once again. And this university, we can make it a little complex, the same case, that many students are international students also. It's a global university, or a high percentage is international students. Then this university will lose a lot of reputation at a very high speed also. An electronics company establishes a quality assurance process. We need to learn quality assurance also, even if it's not taught to us directly in our syllabus at the school, college, university levels. The moment we step into the corporate world, professional world, we need to know, we need to understand, we need to use quality principles also. So this company, electronics company, catches 99.99% of defects in their vacuum cleaners. But there's still possibility of 0.01%. How do they cover? This is their risk management. They know they will have minor defect and they offer a return policy. Customer, you can bring this back and get a replacement new vacuum cleaner, which means this is a loss, possible loss to the company. But they manage this, that they have kept budget. There will be some replacements coming to us. We have budget and there's no loss. This is a planned journey, very well done. Similar activities done by insurance companies also, at least in India known to me. There is a cooling period, 15 days. You buy a policy. For 15 days, you observe it. If you do not like, return it. Your money will be refunded. Little catch, you may never get 100% back. The company may say, assume 0.1% will be deducted because we have spent some money on this already. So that will not be returned, but rest of the money will be returned to you during cooling period. So once again, they know how many people, how many customers return the policies during cooling off period, or they must know if they are a good insurance company or if they want to do good business. So how many policies will be returned and how much money would be returned by them? They should have taken care of that in their budgeting process itself, in their planning process itself. Case 9 is Christina is working with Alec. She is involved. Alec is in a life insurance company. Hope you recollect from the first case itself. She is involved in a financial fraud. You know this, but you do not report and escalate. This is an operational risk. There are two risks in this case. One is an employee is doing a financial fraud. Second is that another employee knows it but does not report or escalate. Case 10 is Alistair is working same Alec life insurance company. You also work there and you have seen him behaving inappropriately with a female colleague. You also observed that the female colleague was not comfortable and had attempted to oppose Alistair. You know it, but you do not report or escalate. So both these cases, number 9 and 10, are very important. So I'm taking you back to case 9 first, and then 10 we'll see. Christiania, a financial fraud, you know, but you do not report. Alistair, misbehaving with a female colleague, you know, but you don't report. Why? Multiple reasons can be. One or many of these or a combination. First, that the person who is misbehaving in both cases is your senior, your boss, so you don't report. You don't have the courage to report. Second, that attitude, none of my business. That's a cultural change when it comes to operational risk management and operational resilience. Third, that the person who is doing it, either fraud or this, if we take this towards misappropriation, is towards sexual harassment, that person is your close friend. So if you tell about him or her, you tend to lose a good friend. You don't want to do that, so you don't report. Spending a little more time on this case, then how do we fix it? For that reason, Cleo is here actually in this picture. This is a whistle. There is a policy in the companies which is known as whistleblower policy. They say, Daman, you can report without disclosing your identity. So your boss, your friend will not come to know that you reported it. There are arrangements made like that. And in recent years, from the globe, some of us, if not all of us, will be able to recollect, oh yes, there have been some cases in the media news where some whistleblower acted. Case 11, which is the last case for today, it's a true story. My own previous organization, we had an incident logging tool. And once we checked and found that there were no entries in that. How can this be a risk? Why is this listed in these discussions? Because we shouldn't be too happy with this situation. The situation or the case is 0 found or 0 recorded. This does not mean 0 happened. And this situation is dangerous. I have been across companies, countries, and industries in different roles, including an auditor also, as an auditor also. And this is based on those experiences. I'm bringing this out that even not India, across globe, biggest companies, people don't report incidents. That's bad. If we don't know the incident, we cannot have fix about it. So this can continue happening again and again. And again, if we go deep, we'll have to find the root cause, then we'll have to fix it, and then we'll have to find the effectiveness on a regular basis. I hope you like these cases live, close to our lives. Operational risk management, if we quickly look at the definition, the risk of loss resulting from inadequate or failed internal processes, people and systems, or from external events. I can make it so simple that any risk is operational risk. Any risk can bring interruption to my operations. So that is operational risk for me. So what is operational risk management? The entire gamut, whatever we do in managing operational risks. Activities right from risk identification, measurement and assessment, monitoring and control, mitigation, reporting to senior management and the board of directors on the organization's risk exposure, business continuity management, and learning through feedback for improvement. Just a reminder, these discussions today are based on a guidance document issued by RBI last year, so very recent. The guidelines for operational risk management and operational resilience. RBI is the regulator for financial sector in India, but these concepts and this guidance issued by RBI are valid, equally important for all sectors, all organizations, whichever, small, large, medium, simple, complex, public, private, schools, colleges, universities, institutions. Everyone needs to do this, must do this, I will say today. So RBI has advised a three-pillar approach for operational risk management and operational resilience. We don't have time to discuss this in today's session, but I still want to bring this out that this is such a great document produced by RBI. I've studied such documents, guidelines, mandates from about 20 different countries, and I found RBI document to be one of the best. What we see quickly is pillar 1 is prepare and protect. Pillar 2 is build resilience, and pillar 3 is learn and adapt. Continuous learning, continual learning. Repeatedly, I said in the beginning, no one is perfect in this world. Learning, sharing is forever. I'm a lifelong learner, learning even while delivering this session today. A very important concept, quickly, 3 lines of defense. This is also known as 3 LOD in the corporate world. First line is operational units. These are the business units or operational functions that own and manage risks. They are responsible for implementing controls and executing risk mitigation strategies. That's the first line of defense in any company. When I say company, I mean to say any organization. So I'm repeating: school, colleges, institutions, universities, government, non-government, NGOs, public, private sector, all. Second line of defense is called risk management and compliance functions. There is a department or function called risk management in the companies. So this line provides, we can understand it this way. RBI has written in the guidance document, this line must provide oversight. And by the way, this concept is global, 3 lines of defense. It's not that RBI has introduced newly, well established across globe. Second line is risk management and compliance functions, and they provide oversight and they support the first line by establishing risk management frameworks, policies, and procedures. They also monitor and ensure compliance with regulations. And as if these 2 lines will not be sufficient, the concept has introduced third line also, which is internal audit department. They provide independent assurance on the effectiveness of the risk management and internal control systems implemented by the first and second lines. They conduct audits and assessments to identify gaps and recommend improvements. Quickly, examples on this concept, three lines of defense, because it's very important. A financial advisor in an investment company needs to recommend an investment product to its client. You could be that client. You're talking to someone that I want to invest some money. Where should I invest? This is how three lines of defense work in this case. Second line, which is risk management function department, prepares the policies and guidelines for this task and trains the user on these. First line, which is the business unit, means this financial advisor recommends a product to client while working within those policies and guidelines. The third line, which is internal audit function or department, checks the effectiveness of the controls by providing independent assurance. Again, someday we go deep into audits and internal audits, and the last two words are important. It's independent assurance. Not Daman saying Daman is good, but someone else is saying Daman is good. That is what is required in the audit. Second example, a bank gets cyber attacked and its payment processing system goes down. So this is how three lines of defense will be in action in three different stages: before the incident, during the incident, and after the incident. Before the incident, first line implements operational controls and conducts regular monitoring. Second line will conduct risk assessment, enforce policies, and provide training. Third line will perform periodic audits. So this is BAU, business as usual. When there is no incident, cyber attack has not happened, this is what these three lines of defense will continue to do. But by definition, a risk may happen, so assume cyber attack happened. Then during the incident, first line will execute the incident response plan to contain and mitigate the attack. Second line, risk management function, will monitor the response, ensure policy compliance, and report to management. And then third line, which is internal audit, will observe the incident response to prepare for a subsequent review. And then someday the incident is over. These three lines of defense will come into picture once again, will come into action once again. First line will document the incident and restore normal operations. First line is the business unit. Second line will analyze the incident, recommend improvements, and update risk assessments. This is the risk department. They may have to update, change, make some changes in the framework of the company, risk management framework. Maybe the policy needs some update, improvement. And third line will conduct an independent review, report findings, and ensure follow-up actions. Another example, a change is happening. It's a manufacturing unit implementing a change in the business. What is the change? They want to launch a new eco-friendly product line. So first line of defense, the production team develops the manufacturing process for the new eco-friendly product, ensuring it meets all design and quality specifications. They identify potential risks like raw material availability and develop contingency plans. The marketing team prepares the launch strategy, coordinating with production to ensure timelines are met and any market risks are addressed. Second line of defense, the risk management department. The risk management team reviews the production and marketing plans, ensuring that all identified risks have appropriate mitigation strategies. They ensure compliance with environmental regulations. This is eco-friendly product. The compliance team conducts regular checks to ensure all processes adhere to internal and external standards. Third line of defense, which is internal audit, conducts a review of the entire product launch process from planning to execution to ensure risks are adequately managed and controls are effective. They report their findings to senior management, highlighting areas of strength and recommending improvements where necessary. By effectively coordinating the efforts of 3 lines of defense, as we saw in this case, the manufacturing unit can ensure a successful and compliant launch of the new product while managing risks effectively. Quick view. While I'm showing 6 steps, but in risk management, whether it is operational risk or any other type of risk, there are 3 main steps. Simply identify, evaluate, and mitigate. When we go deep, we look at monitoring, effectiveness, etc., also. Ineffective in identifying, there is a concept of risk universe. Identify all possible risks for yourself, for your company. Most of these are common to most organizations, but some of these are close to financial companies. And I see here, excuse, I need to take few seconds break. My apologies for this.
No issue, sir. Thank you so much. I think this is a wonderful session, dear participants, because sir is not just discussing the changed policies, the government policies, but also all the risk factors which would be affecting any particular entity, any particular medium that is working in this case. So we have sir back, and sir would be continuing with the session.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ritika. And I seek your permission to take few extra minutes, please.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
There are some tools. I'm going fast in this session because normally we keep these sessions for an hour only, and I want to be in time also, even if I have taken permission to be a little over. How do we identify risks? So many different ways. You have some knowledge. There are some other experienced people in the company. You can seek help from consultants. There are books, there are articles. 2 very important sources are, or one best starting point is World Economic Forum every year publishes the Global Risk Report, which is free for everyone to download. Ask people, look at your competitors also, what's happening to them, study different reports. All public listed companies are mandated to, in their annual report, publish their risks also. So that becomes a source for you for identifying risks for yourself. Second topic is operational resilience, and for which I'm going to play another video. Please pay attention to this. Too big to fail. I hope you can see the Explorer.
Bye, Papa.
Bye, Dadu.
आँखों पे नए अरमान करते देखो नॉक नॉक
दादू
And
अब मुझे शेव करना सिखाओगे?
कोशिशों पे लगे ना कोई हर छोटी बड़ी कोशिश से बने दिन बेहतर Amazon हर दिन बेहतर
we want to focus on too big to fail concept. Please pay attention now.
Too big to fail refers to the notion that a business has become so large and ingrained in a nation's economy that its failure would have catastrophic economic repercussions. When a government bails out a company that's too big to fail, it intervenes and provides the company with help to survive.
Someone says can't see the video, is it?
Sir, actually the voice is visible. There are no pictures that are visible.
Which is bad.
It is completely audible. Only the pictures are not visible.
Which is bad. Let me start again. Tell me, please.
Yes, sir.
Can you see the Explorer?
No, sir. At the moment, we can only see your slides.
Sorry about that. Now?
Yes, sir.
Great. So sorry about this.
Glam sequence for a girl's night out. Har pal on trend with Amazon.
Video clear now?
Yes, sir.
From global brands to indie brands, Amazon, हर पल fashionable.
Too big to fail refers to the notion that a business has become so large and ingrained in a nation's economy that its failure would have catastrophic economic repercussions. When a government bails out a company that's too big to fail, it intervenes and provides the company with help to survive. The term goes back decades, but it was prominent during the 2007-2008 financial crisis, when the U.S. government bailed out certain companies and financial institutions that were deemed too big to fail. If a large company does fail, the companies that rely on it for their business may collapse as well, costing employees their jobs and leading to a cascade of negative effects that can hurt an economy. Governments weigh the cost of a bailout versus the cost of a company failing, and bailouts are sometimes the most cost-effective solution. While bailouts can avert an economic collapse, there are opponents who argue they might lead to unnecessary risk-taking, and that no company should be allowed to become too big to fail. Or in the event such a large company does start to go under, the government should not intervene.
So the concept is called too big to fail. In the past, we had another saying, it's too good to believe, which would mean it's so good that it cannot be true, it should not be believed. So, too big to fail means it's so big that it cannot fail. And that's not correct impression. No one is foolproof. Anyone can fail. What has happened in the world? Across countries, companies have failed. Even the biggest companies have failed. And that's the reason regulators like RBI want us to raise the bar for our resilience. I hope you can see my slide once again.
Yes, sir.
Too good to fail. Appears that big companies cannot fail, big organizations cannot fail, but that's not correct conceptually. All big organizations can fail, and this is the principle behind implementing operational resilience in all organizations. So once again, the restriction based on RBI's guidance, which is for financial sector, but the principle is, or principles are applicable, important for all sectors, all companies, all organizations. Quickly at the definition that BCBS is the Basel Committee for Banking Supervision, kind of the biggest global regulator for banks. They say operational resilience is the ability of a bank to deliver critical operations through disruption. When there's a disruption due to any reason, the bank should be able to deliver its critical operations, not all operations, but critical operations. And I like this definition. This is the simplest, shortest definition of any concept that I have seen. Because it's by BCBS, that's why it says bank. It's so good that just replace a bank with an organization, and this is valid for all organizations. Operational resilience is the ability of an organization to deliver critical operations through disruptions. Second definition is from Gartner, a bit longer. Operational resilience is defined as initiatives that expand business continuity management programs. Someday we'll talk of business continuity management also, which is the pillar. Even in 3 pillars approach, we had seen business continuity management. To focus on the impacts, connected risk appetite and tolerance levels for disruption of product or service delivery. So internal and external stakeholders such as employees, customers, citizens, and partners. I picked up another one from another company called Protivity. Operational resilience is an organization's ability to detect, prevent, respond to, recover, and learn from operational disruptions. Why have I picked up this one? Because I see in this something known as PDCA cycle. Plan, do, check, and act cycle of continual improvement. So your operational resilience needs to be improved continually. That's why I picked up the third definition also. And BCBS and RBI both say operational resilience is an outcome that benefits from the effective management of operational risk. So first question was operational risk. We achieve resilience in our operations when we effectively manage our risks or operational risks. Quick look at 5 main elements. There are many, but 5 main. Third-party dependencies, outsourcers, partners, customers, our vendors. We all have done some outsourcing, and that's a big area in the world today. Third-party risk management, business continuity management, ICT's information and communications technology, within which portion of cyber risk and incident management. I am repeating, I said, based on my experience having gone across companies, countries, industries, especially as an auditor, I have found that people don't report. If we don't know the incident, we cannot manage them. This is a big risk. So we need to improve upon this. Operational resilience continuity needs to be done for critical processes. If you look at one of the simplest processes in a bank, which is new account opening, what happens? Banks' internal systems are required. Website is required. Most of the banks today say, don't come to me, please. Go to my website and you can initiate, if not open completely your bank account from the site itself. Then once the account is opened, they need to send you something, your ATM card, welcome pack, etc. That is to be printed by someone on paper. So that paper supplier is another organization. The one who supplies to you, to the bank, is just a supplier, not the producer. So there's another company that produces the paper. And the wood for that paper may come from different cities, different countries, actually. Then the building, wherever the bank branch is. Then the utilities suppliers, gas, electricity, water, etc. They are different companies. They come into picture. Either postal department or the courier department has to post that welcome pack, your ATM card to you. They come into picture, but the ATM card is on plastic card. Again, 2-3 different companies may come into picture because of that. The card printing machine may be another different company. The card printer, card dispatcher, ATM machine, your card is to be used at ATM. And that ATM machine housed once again in a building, different company. Machine may have thousands of components, and different components may be manufactured at by different companies. Then someone assembles these, then supplies it to you, the bank, and then it is installed. There may be someone else who is maintaining it. There is someone else who is filling notes into it. See, that this ATM, when you are using your ATM card, needs to communicate with the bank's servers at the backend, wherever the data center is. And many IT equipment may come into picture, and there may be different suppliers for those. So while this is, I'm saying, one of the simplest processes in a bank. There are many other which are complex processes, but this diagram helps us to understand the complexity even in this. This is one process by one company. It's a bank, but it's applicable. The concept is applicable to all organizations. Once again, I'll keep saying, know what will happen. Even if a lot of automation has happened, everything is online, but we still need some internal departments. Dependencies quickly. We say which department, which function or unit within that, then that heads details, name, address, email, phone number, etc. Process name, assume this is new account opening we are calling here. When we say heads details, we bring business continuity into the picture while discussing operational risk and operational resilience. There has to be a backup always. So backup head or deputy head's details, name, location, email address, phone numbers, etc. Who is the process owner? His or her details and his or her backups details. These are typical. I'm not going too deep into this, but when we talk of business continuity management, there are some parameters that every company has to establish. Those will be recorded because we are doing mapping here of dependencies. Depending may be internal, that there has to be clerk, that is internal person. But all those we saw in the previous diagram, the one who is supplying paper, the one who is supplying the cards, who is dispatching the cards, delivering the cards, etc., etc. So those become external dependencies. And whether internal phase or external phase, my new account opening process doesn't work. There is an operational interruption, disruption to my process. Whether this is internal or external, what type of dependency. So I get paper from this vendor, for example. Then we capture the details of the vendor, name, address, etc. for primary contact as well as secondary contact. Do we have any contractual commitments with them? When was the last, when this contract was renewed, when is the next review renewal due? And do they have, the vendor have business continuity arrangement? Because if they fail, you, the bank, at least for this new account opening process, are bound to fail. And do they have certification? We know for business continuity, there is a standard called ISO 22301, and companies can get certified to that. Are you involving your vendors in your tests? Various tests are to be conducted. So vendor is third party. The concept is going deep today. Third party is not enough. They may be fourth, fifth, sixth party also. So your vendor, vendors, all need to be considered. All need to have BCM, risk, operational risk, and operational resilience, etc. Quick. So there is a doubt in the world about who is a third party. So exactly from the RBI guidance, these may appear for a bank. So when we go deep with a particular organization in a different sector, we think for them. Many of these will be common for all organizations. So there are some DSAs, direct selling agents, cash or ATM management, IT operations vendors, customer care services, external consultants, advertising partners, recovery agencies, analytics services, storage or backup providers, payment processing firms, cloud service providers. Cloud is once again a technology. Some of us will understand for sure, if not all, but everyone understands, might have heard cloud these days when it comes to IT or technology. Then logistics management, marketing agents, legal services, and data management. Some of these, I would say, are common and some are specific for a bank. I'll come back and talk on business continuity management, which is a very important function in an organization. Need one full webinar on that itself. So I'm skipping this portion as of now. But without BCM, operational risk management and operational resilience will not happen. That's what we must understand. Quick. Few minutes, maybe a minute or two only on this one, because once again, there's huge confusion about this. People think it's almost same, similar, both are same. Information security and cyber security. So I have attempted to develop some points to differentiate between these two because both are different. On the left-hand side, information security parameters, and right-hand side, cyber security. So information security protects all types of information assets, including digital and non-digital, but cyber security is only for digital information assets. So that's the difference. Information security focuses on all types of threats, while cyber security focuses on digital threats only. Information security is based on CIA, which is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. while cybersecurity is or may be called a subset of information security. And one big difference that there is an ISO standard, ISO 27001 for information security management, but there is no such global ISO standard for cybersecurity management, and a lot more. I know I was rushing. I've taken a little longer also, but the concept is so good, important, deep, and with so many examples, cases that I had built into discussion that we went above the time. My apologies for this, but I'm happy to come back and talk more on all of these concepts. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with me directly or through IEEE, through the team that is managing all these webinars. Once again, this is part of the Golden Jubilee celebrations that we are having this year. Thank you very much. Back to Dr. Ritik.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this insightful session. I would say the various cases that you have taken that have actually established the importance of this policy change. I would say in the present digital times when we are actually moving, we are actually depending more on generative AI based tools. But I have one important question that I'd like to take up now with your permission.
Yes, please.
Sir, when we talk of the Indian financial system, it can be characterized by different types of financial institutions. They can be very big institutions and they can be very small firms which are working in some part of the country. But obviously, when I talk about all these entities, they are all niche players with, I would say, varying risk profile. So how does this policy change actually bring all of them on the same level and have a sense of saving themselves with the proper regulations and becoming resilient so that all of them can survive, I would say, in the present times?
This is a big challenge. Good question, very important question. Not an easy answer, Dr. Ritika. I'll attempt by giving example the difference between two countries. While as citizens, we are proud of India. Very small country is the UAE.
Yes, sir.
In the UAE, it is a mandate to implement business continuity. Every company, small, big, medium, has to implement BCM. I don't know any other country in the world that has mandated this way. Some countries, some sectors have mandated. To my understanding, in India, it is a guideline. So there's a huge difference between guideline and mandate. Like this operational risk management and operational resilience, also it's a guidance document by RBI. Why I understand RBI conducts or will be conducting, because this is a very new guidance document, will start conducting audits on banks and other financial institutions. But if you think of UK, the equivalent of RBI is Bank of England there. And operational resilience is a mandate there. Again, for banks, financial institutions, but it's a mandate there. And they gave about 4 or 5 years journey. So this program in UK also started about 3 years ago. And this year, March was the deadline. And now it should continue. Something like that. So bringing all at the same level is very, very challenging task, long task, even for any country. So UAE is a very small country. It should be so easy. But then I've been working in that sector, and I know closely that not even the big companies have done this yet. This became mandate about 5-6 years ago there, but still is not done by all. And we wouldn't know about small companies. So for any company and for any country, it's a journey of transformation. We should be looking at the long-term view, not short-term view. I wouldn't mind 3, 4, 5, 10 years strategy also by any company in any country for being resilient to a high degree. When we said the topic today, that the subject was, or the tagline was kept, raising the resilience bar.
Absolutely.
It's a transformative journey. This is how we should take it.
Absolutely, sir. I would say very rightly said. And I would say the conclusion of this particular session we have had today is that yes, we need to have knowledge, we need to have information, and next thing we need to have is we need to have self-control, self-discipline to actually follow the regulations and turn them into our benefit. So that is the main tagline. And thank you so much, sir, once again for this wonderful session today. We would not be ending today's session before we thank sir with a small certificate as a token of remembrance for this wonderful session today. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for this
Thank you
wonderful
very
session.
much.
We always look up to your sessions because they are, I would say, the need of the hour, and they are on any new policy change, policy implementation, which can actually be applied at the given moment. So
Right.
that is one factor that I always look up to sir's session.
Thank you very much.
So please also accept this e-memento as a small token of appreciation and remembrance from BVI Camp for this wonderful session today. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a small technical glitch. So please also accept this e-memento.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for this wonderful session today. And I hope this has actually motivated all our participants to actually raise their individual bars of resilience so that whatever field of application you are working in, you can actually bring in the proper regulations and follow the proper regulations, which is expected out of an individual to not just safeguard individual interests, but also the national interests.
Thank you very much. I'll request Dr. Ritika while I take your leave, but please do make this announcement about the Golden Jubilee celebrations. Also,
Yes,
what Professor Voda said in the beginning, that many more webinars have already been announced. So please, participants, look into that and register for those webinars which are of interest to you. Well, we would say that all webinars are of interest to all of us because these are providing us some knowledge. Thank you very much.
absolutely, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Dear participants, our next webinar in this series is right next week, next Saturday. So I request all of you to go to our website, bvicam.ac.in, and under the activities section in the webinar section, you will find the details of all our upcoming webinars. You can register yourself for next week's webinar also so that you are timely reminded of the same. So dear participants, please register yourself for all our upcoming webinars. Our very next webinar is just next week. Please don't leave this meeting room till the time you do not fill the feedback form and receive your certificate of participation in your